record here. It's so awesome to see all of your faces. Thank you so much for coming tonight. This has been quite a month, quite a last few months. And I was just saying before I started recording, like, how y'all doing out there? It has been crazy with the amount of energies that have been moving and things that have been going on. It's like hanging on and going for a ride lately. Hey, Jenny, welcome. We're class hopping
Hey,
tonight.
sorry I'm late.
No, I
Yeah.
know where you were. It's all good. I felt bad because I had to hop off. It was awesome. Um, Trisha Becker was doing an alchemy sort of scholarship thing, and she had messaged with me, and I was like, I'd love to come hold space, just sort of be there. And she's brilliant, so we were hanging out there and just having a great session. It was fun to be able to just sort of be with a lot of like-minded souls, and that's one of the bigger things that I've noticed over the last little while. Just having that, we talk about environment, but having that environment of people that are kind of on the same wavelength that you can sort of talk about things with, sort of. I know, like, a lot of times you end up on the phone with people and you have this information kind of almost being downloaded for them, like you can help them to feel better. You feel better just by having those connections. And we've had such crazy emotions coming up. It's been such strong emotions. I've even heard some coaches refer to, like, they're like, my brain broke this week. Like, it just broke. I just, like, it's been crazy. And I'm like, I know it's been a lot, but it's been so beautiful in that it's all this coming up. We can kind of make sense of it when we know little things, like those little bits, those little pieces of the puzzle that kind of help us navigate this crazy life. Like, we talk about Mercury retrograde and everybody's like, wow, my husband's like, raspberry lemonade, what? But it's like, really, communications are difficult through this time. And this was just one planet. We have six aligned as of right now. Pluto joined in on the group in the last couple days. So people were like literally um, starting to get sick, starting to like shut down because their bodies are going through this. It's like we had surgery, and now we need that recovery time. Like, you don't just have the surgery, like, you don't get pregnant and have the baby. You don't, like, it doesn't just happen like that, right? We've been doing these major surgeries. We've been impregnating ourselves with these beautiful ideas, and the emotions that have been coming up around it have just been so intense. Because if we don't have that intensity, we often don't have that drive. Like, things have to get really good so that, or get really bad so that you'll kind of see, I don't fucking want this anymore. Like, that's usually where we make a shift. And we have these emotions, right? Like, in designing this mastery of emotions that we're doing in a couple weeks with Creator Sphere there, it's been so beautiful with the information that's been just dripping in, because all these emotions have such lessons. It's just, we think we know what that emotion's telling us, and we don't really. Again, we know it, we don't take the action on it, right? So that, even just the emotion of the lack of communication, we'll start to feel guilty. We'll start to have all these vibrations that'll bring us down, make it harder to stay in that vibration of, where we really want to go. So with retrogrades, it's literally bringing us back into things, back into childhood, back into getting us to have a really good look at what is sort of these lessons have been over time. And when we choose to make that choice to make it different, is when we make the space for these other things. Those lessons aren't so hard. It becomes easier and easier, and that muscle gets stronger and stronger until someone asks you something and you're just like, mm-mm. Like, your intuition is, you don't even have to go, okay, what do I really feel about this? It's just like, you get this hard no, this hard yes, this feeling, this emotion. And we've been talking a lot about desire, and we have desire and we have will. And when we can get those two to work together, like, I desire to be really healthy and to not have chips in my life. Yet my will is to eat chips. Like, It's just terrible. I always joke about chips. It's really not about chips. There's so many things, like saying yes to too many things, saying no to too many things, saying, however you happen to believe about certain things. Repeatedly just getting into situations where you're like, why is this happening again? When we make that decision, when we can look at it from that observing point of just, okay, all of this stuff has kind of come up in May. It was sort of bring it up. June was kind of like the recognizing it. July is like manifestations. What do we really want? August is right. Let's go for this. Like no more messing around. Like this is like this birth. It's not just that we started this impregnation. Now we've started this like a year ago. We don't have to wait 9 months or a year. We kind of already even know it may have already been in our field. It's maybe something that we've told ourselves 5 times, like, I just need to make the videos. I just need to, those actions are very clear, but there's something that's still been stopping us from doing it. We know it. We do know it. We all have all the information that we need right now to kind of be in this exact situation and decide where we really want to end up going. So the new moon is with manifestations. We can kind of allow that light to sort of shine of who we were, who we are, allow all these teachings to sort of come together, allow the balance of the masculine and feminine. The doing, that was kind of like the surgery. The feminine is now allow this. Oh, no worries, Jenny. The allowance, the feminine energy is where this power can really start to come in, the receiving part of it, right? Because it's all about balance. We're finally in a place to be balanced. It's finally here. This is literally the Lion's Gate. It happens every Leo moon, we get this, but this is strong because with having all of these planets in retrograde at the same time, there's a real big added energy, right? Oh, that's awesome, Jesse. Yes, and it's like, huh, I think that was it, and we're so worried about doing it when we actually just go, okay, you know what, like, we can't, it's almost at this point, you just can't help it anymore. Like, you just kind of, it's just like, it's just happening. It's just there. This is like the 2.0 of the things that we've sort of been waiting for. It is finally coming in. And the next 4 months, this is like really the big time for the manifestation. So when we can really sort of allow ourselves to do those things that make us happy, to do those things that just light us up, to do those things that we really just can be connected with ourselves, like we forget to tune in, we shut off. And I feel like the feminine energy helps us to actually tune in, to turn in, to tap on, like to really get connected, because that's really what it is taking those few moments during the day, taking those few moments before you go to sleep, being conscious, the unthinking, allow the thinking to just simply, the knowing what we have to do. That's when those thoughts truly come, when we can actually allow. And it's the same thing, always trying to control things, right? Always trying to, that's that unconscious mind. As soon as we release that need to control, that need to chase it, or that need to avoid something, we can be in that space where we can simply allow. And it's a beautiful space. You guys have probably been noticing it more and more lately, where there's just weird things happening. Like, you'll find something you were looking for all of a sudden. Timelines are coming together. For example, yesterday I was like, I really feel like I'm onto something with the niche that I'm getting. I feel like it's really, moving. And I have this thing about eagles, bald eagles in particular. And the only time you'll see them around my place is if something's dead and they're like, being vultures in the ditch. But there was nothing dead in the ditch. And I was driving just like a minute from my house, and there was like a lump almost on the road. And I thought, oh, the farmers have mud again. And this eagle just like came soaring out its wings. I've never seen such a big one. And it just kind of did this big sort of swoop around my car. And it was just like, holy smokes, that was beautiful. And it just touched me in such a way that was like meditation for 5 hours. Just seeing something like that, it just brings you to that space right away. but sometimes we're so rushed we don't even allow ourselves to notice those things, or those beautiful things that just they mean so much to us. They're probably happening for you guys. Have you noticed that, like little signs here and there, that you are on a bit of a, like, being able to finally see, and feel, in an intuition class, it finally kind of happens. I see some of you nodding. Some of you feel free to share in the chat if you want as well. You're more than welcome to. I'm always happy to hear what's going on with you guys. But it's having that. Oh, and oh wait, oh wait, that's a big power day. That's a really big manifestation day. That one, give yourself grace on that day, because it's going to be like a kind of like supercharged day. There's going to be almost like paddles just electrifying things that
It's
day.
Lion's Gate, isn't it?
It is. That's the exact moment. Oh, that's cool, Ginny. Very cool. That's one of my favorite days of the whole year is 8/8. It's a really big 7/7's my probably my next one. Those are huge power days in this shift. But even if people, if they're on the replay and they're watching it and they're not experiencing these crazy shifts going on, there's little signs that we do see, and there's little ways that we can stay connected to that conscious mind, and that is truly by allowing ourselves to have some space, allowing ourselves to continue doing that meditation, and allowing ourselves to do those things that we really love. It might be the guitar. When you were a kid, you picked up the guitar and you haven't done that forever. Or you might just love swimming, and how much time are you swimming? Well, not at all, right? So maybe that would be really nice. When you go to the pool, you may end up meeting someone. When you end up being in the water and just floating, you might have a revelation or a moment of time that your thoughts can just collapse and relax enough to allow you to see those true things, because we're meant for them. It's not like we have to think of them. It's not like we don't know them. They're definitely in there. I was almost picturing it like a light bright that had a pattern on the front. We can just take that whole pattern off and just let the true light shine and sort of see what's underneath there. Because every time we have a little trauma, there's another little light that kind of gets maybe tucked in there, and those eventually those little paper panels are full of holes, and they really can't come back, right? Like, we can just take all that right off. We can just kind of see what's going on underneath, because that's really the key to finding ourselves right now. So I would love to, did anyone want to share anything before I go on a little bit more about what is to be looking forward to in August here?
Yeah. Um, I've been working today on a painting for my brother. It's 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 about my brother, but intuitively, I'm getting it's going to be for his family legacy. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So before I sat to paint, because it's in process, I had heard about an artist. I forget his name. He's not an artist, but he used to do quantum jumping. The man is dead now,
okay.
and he used to do like intentional, kind of like intentional painting, and he would put an intention on the painting or something magical power on it. Okay,
I love it.
that came to mind today. So, okay, I sat still, and I talked to, the universe. Okay, this is for whoever and whatever. So guide me along. And today on a YouTube, I never get to listen to his premieres, Brian Scott, and he was doing the magic of art. So, anyways, it was a 4-hour episode. I listened to about 2 hours, fall
Wow.
asleep. The whole thing is he paints, and he puts he calls them sigils. They're signs,
Okay.
calligraphy signs, and they're magical symbols. He puts it on the canvas, or he writes an affirmation, and then him and his wife paint on it. Okay,
Wow.
so showing all these paintings and all of that, and while I'm looking at that, I'm going, wow, I'm gonna take out my painting, and wouldn't you know it, like And I don't know which painting it was, but I saw my, uh, I saw some lines I was supposed to be doing on my painting, which would
Nice.
read, you know, so it all added up, and
Yeah.
now I can watch his program over again to get the symbols or whatever they're called. Sig, sig, I
That's
forget.
really neat.
Signal. So anyway, so that was right up my alley today.
That is so cool. Just allowing yourself to just do that, because sometimes we don't imagine if you weren't painting again, if you weren't even sort of going there, right? That's so beautiful. That is so beautiful. It's it's really, again, it's doing it, right? It's we know what we love. We know what we want to spend our time and our attention and our energy on. But when we actually do it, it's like it's amazing. It's not just about the doing it, it's about the doing what we love. That's what we're born here for. That's what we're meant to be here to do. Hey, Rebecca, welcome. So awesome to see you. So awesome to see you. I love it.
I'm excited about kayaking on the full moon next week.
I saw that picture on your Facebook and I was like, yes.
I'm so excited
Wow.
about that.
Wow. Isn't that
Yeah,
beautiful?
yeah, it really is.
And just
It's
knowing that
just,
you wanted to travel, just knowing that you sort of putting that out into the field, that
yeah,
is what comes in. Yeah, of course,
yeah.
Rebecca, absolutely. We're just sharing a little bit about it was like, how you guys all doing out there? It's been pretty crazy, this whole integration of June and all the learnings, and then July is, learning how to kind of walk your walk and what is the walk, and let's figure out how I'm walking, and start to really envision it. And now as we're moving into August, we're really all sort of ready to kind of quit messing around and just, really, and I say it very lightly because messing around, I mean, it's not so light for everybody. There's a lot of people that are really struggling, right? Like there's a lot of stuff really going on. There's really serious issues, right? Oh, we are so aligned. I love you. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Um, it's yeah, it's really, I thought for so long that I knew it. I thought I knew the law of attraction. I thought I knew how it all worked, and until I was forced to surrender and stop, like not only did running into a semi truck and blowing out my shoulder and completely eliminating my career to COVID, like this was a big time for people. I feel like for a lot of us, if something hadn't stopped us, we would be in a whole big different direction right now. I mean, who out of any of us thought that we would be online thinking about, group coaching, or like it's crazy, right? Or group teaching, or sharing our gifts with the world, or like this was meant to happen. This is the real reason that I got goosebumps now. The real reason that we were born, and the real reason that we're here tonight, and the real reason that we actually show up and do this work on a regular basis, because we're ready for things to shift. We're ready to let those last, those last things that may be holding us back, and those things that are also going to end up creeping up eventually, but our emotions are going to be so, and our reactions are going to be so much more balanced and different. When you are reacting, if you think about it, if you make a decision from a place of fear, despair, sadness, grief, and you make a decision from a place of hope and desire and love and gratefulness, wow. Think of just the decision that you would make if someone just asked you to go out. Think of how that would wind up happening. It's that vibration, that emotion is going to either keep us where we are, or it's going to allow us to just propel forward, right? And the Archangel Gabriel. Oh, I love this. So in the chat, I'll just share this in case people can't read it. Pulled a card out now and got Archangel Gabriel. So you have an important life purpose involving communication and the arts. Please don't allow insecurities to hold you back. I will help you. That is like, I was just saying, I got goosebumps again. I was just saying, like, have you gotten a sign? Have you gotten have you seen a random eagle just fly out in the middle of your road that you didn't expect? Or, have you been, literally people are seeing a sign like walk your walk, and they're just like, whoa, like it's like a darn billboard that's actually popping up for some people. Like it can be that apparent, or it can be like a little card, or it can be like finding your favorite rock and you're just like, oh, I love this rock, I didn't even realize I had this one anymore, and then realizing what it was, and it was the exact thing to keep you in your perfect balance for that day. um and there's so many fun ways to kind of raise that vibration, get out of that fear stuff. But we're all working on it, right? We're all recognizing it. And I've almost kind of forgotten how wonderful the recode was with being able to actually, your dragonfly at your front door. Yes. I had a girlfriend, and she may end up watching this replay because she does that sometimes. And her husband had passed away, and I had pulled out this ladybug card. I was doing my animal reading cards, and it was beautiful. It was just like, you are supported, you are loved. It was just an amazing, it was exactly the card she needed to hear. But not only that, then a ladybug flew into my office, and I'm in it like a downstairs office. I didn't even have ladybugs in my house. It flew on, and it flew on my camera, and it was walking like this on my camera while we were talking. And I'm like, okay. I mean, sometimes you get signs, right? Sometimes you have to look for them a little further. But dragonflies, oh, beautiful. When you look up your animals speak, you can see exactly what those things are telling us. The numbers, 333s, 555s, 222s, they've been showing up for a lot of people. 111, they're amazing, right? It's going to tell you, if you see twos right now, it's all about being in harmony with the path. And when we start to balance that energy, that masculine feminine energy, that's now able to kind of come into balance a little bit more, now that the planet, with the way everything's sort of lined up, this last sort of 4 months is really this this sort of fruition, baby sort of harvest being born. Everything is just aligned to just kind of be right in your grasp. And so making sure we are on the absolute most beautiful vibration, and really sort of feeling that charge, clearing out any extra energy. I thought tonight we would just do a really nice new moon clearing, talk about walking our walk, and discovering what that is, actually envisioning ourselves just walking and seeing what that really looks like. And doing a little inner sort of journey tonight on manifestation. I'm sure most of us can think of something that we really kind of want to create, and I want you to definitely keep that true choice in your heart, really sort of feel that, just that statement of kind of what you really like, the maybe the true choices, even if it's just, I'm just choosing health and vitality. Because if there's one thing we've been learning lately, it's that health can get pulled out from us rather quickly, even at the least expected time. If we don't have our health, we really we really aren't able to do much. And I want you guys to embrace the statement of, I always found this funny, of that, put your mask on first. A lot of us just aren't good at taking ourselves. There's this little selfishness, there's this little, there's so many different thoughts that come to mind right now. The judgment, depending on what we were told. And a lot of times it's even from the maternal sources in our life, that we're almost told that it's not okay to just be, to just relax, because those eras, they were really all about doing it all. And well, we all tried to kind of like do it all for a while before COVID. It was like, yeah, you can have the full-time job, you can take care of the family, you could do all the sports, you could do everything. And then when everything falls apart, you can deal with that too. And it's just too much. We kind of came back to this big stage over the last couple of years, where we've been able to sort of recalibrate that compass a little bit and decide where it is that really we want to go. And it's not running around all the time, because Jesse and I were saying this just before, like, this month went quick, but like this last few years went quick. This last 5 years went quick. And it almost feels like the older you get, the quicker it goes. And it's, you know, we're kind of right. It's going anyways. So how are we going to walk our walks for this next 4 months, you know, kind of looking down, bringing us to Christmas, bringing us to that beautiful winter solstice. We're like halfway through summer solstice already. We get to move into that autumn equinox coming up in only, what is it, 6-8 weeks? Like it comes up so quickly. It felt like we were just planning the summer, just planning that. I'm still just trying to plan what I'm going to do this summer. And, you know, maybe that's taking a little bit of time. Maybe you've been going so hard, maybe you've been doing so much that, like we had this surgery kind of going on and people's brains feel like they broke. And we're just like, wow, maybe it is having, you know, a day where you actually change things up and take the day off and give yourself that grace and just actually allow that to happen, you know, without any judgments. Sometimes even I've taken a break for just like a week or so from doing the mindset stuff. I don't recommend it because I love just being in it, but you get in a renewed sense. It's that spatial repetition that I was kind of touching on last week. If I don't know if you guys were here for sure for that, but you know how if you were to watch, say, one of Chris's videos, say 20 times over, you're going to hear something and experience something different almost every single time. And you're going to get something different out of it just because then your epigenetics have changed already because you're absorbing this information, you're releasing shit, and you're allowing light, you're allowing that space, you're allowing those teachings. They can come in finally, they can go, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. These teachings, these all of this stuff we've been pouring in can actually finally start integrating into the cells when we allow it, when we stop trying to control it all, when we stop trying to know what it is we're doing and trying to know where we're going, when we simply be that person that's walking that walk, simply doing the things that you want to be doing, that you desire to be doing, and have your will hop on board to be able to actually be on that same track, rather than, if you think of will, sometimes it can almost be what sort of digs in the heels. I think of it as, you know, someone trying to almost pull us back sometimes. But when we can get will moving in the same direction as our desire, those old patterns can kind of slip away a little bit, and we can actually, like, we can really almost will ourselves to start to make a ritual. Start to make a ritual for yourself every day, whether it's a morning ritual, an evening ritual, a midday ritual, setting a timer on your phone, 5 minutes where you just simply choose to unthink. You choose to just be, you just choose to surrender. Just 5 minutes a day, right? Because sometimes we forget. Even we can climb into bed and we're like, oh, I haven't meditated yet. I'm going to meditate. Next thing you know, you're sleeping. And that's okay too. Sometimes you just need sleep. But for me, as a person who's, you know, talking about meditation, doing this, if I didn't coach it all day, I wouldn't probably do it as much as I do. But it helps me to stay in that vibration where I'm not, you know, I may feel a certain way, may have whatever, a rough hour or two in the morning, but I can usually sort of turn around and laugh it off. Even 10-12 hours of crying, you can still sort of turn around and laugh it off, because everybody has that, right? Everybody goes through these emotions. And what I was starting out with is that having a space where you can just kind of be with people that are sort of feeling the same, that are sort of on the same path. I think that's why community is so important. Even just like once I'm done my, I guess, 2 years with CEC, I probably have to, you know, buy another program, stay in, but it's the community. Like, it's worth sort of being in it, because it's like a family after a while. And I feel like you guys are a family. So thank you for being here. We get to sort of choose our families, right? And I'm so glad that you guys chose to be here with me tonight. So I am going to, if you guys are up for it, I'm just going to walk us through a little bit of a meditation. And I feel like we're just going to, we're just going to really allow ourselves to play. I just want to set the intention to absolutely get the most out of this session. Love you guys. And just to allow our light to shine, you know, this original imprint, this original template that we were born with, that we, you know, if you were to be born just as this little I keep on seeing it as this little light bright. I don't know if you guys remember light brights from the 1980s where you have the colored pegs and you poke them in and you can make all sorts of pictures. And we can make all sorts of pictures and we can have all sorts of filters on there, but I feel like just literally almost ripping that all of that stuff on, letting the lights fly and just letting that light just shine and allowing us to just expand into that. So, my beloveds, I would love for you to just take a nice deep breath. I'm just going to let Chris in here so he can do a little meditation with us. So awesome to have some extra energy climbing in the room. And I love that it's absolutely perfect timing. This is neat. Chris, welcome. So awesome to see you. Last night, I was literally just kind of like getting into the field, and then I saw your name pop up. I was like, that's so awesome. Last night, Chris and I are both in a program together, and it was beautiful because I didn't have my phone, and my husband unplugged the clock in our room so he could plug in his phone, and I thought, I don't want to miss the call that we have to be on, and I was sitting in the room with him and we were just eating dinner, and all of a sudden I felt like this like something like turned on in my head where it almost changed the pressure, like like you could almost hear it, and I was like, oh, I bet you they're in the field. And I ran out to my kitchen where my phone was, and it was 7:32, and I had to, that was the 7:30 was the call. I was like, that was so cool. That was one of those signs. We've just been talking about all the signs that have been around lately showing us our true heart's desires. This is we're going into August here, time to walk the walk. Chris is right in on this, I know, and you know, we've been learning, we've been absorbing, we have been implanting, impregnating, just sort of feeding, planting seeds. We have been doing all of this, and now it's time to get in our garden, spend some hours in there, really, like, you know, fine tuning things, noticing the little dill and the tomatoes that are growing up organically from last year that you didn't even plant, which is perfect because you forgot tomato and dill plants. This is when I go into my garden, I'm like, this is my life right now. It's exactly what's happening. I finally ripped through it. I had such motivation a few hours the other day, and I found all these great plants and all these things growing, and I was like, oh, this is wonderful. I don't even have to till. Now I don't have to spend money on tomatoes. They're already like this big. It was perfect. I just couldn't see them. But they naturally organically planted because I had big dreams in my viewpoint last year about my garden. I knew I was going to end up really being in there. So this garden that we've been planting, these I was joking about, I don't know if you ever had a light bright as a kid, but I just feel like taking off that paper and letting the lights just fall off and just seeing what the real true light is there, with nothing stopping it anymore, and really getting ready to walk in our walk. So we're just about to take a deep breath in. So just join on in with us, hop right in the field. Just setting the intention to get the absolute most out of this. Just really setting the intention to allow ourselves to just allow that love and that inner knowing that's always kind of been there to just come up and start to flutter in our heart a little bit. And I want you to take some nice deep breaths. When you breathe in, I would love if you could just breathe in through your nose, just getting connected, feeling with what that breath feels like as it's going in through your nose. And when you release that breath, just crack your lips and allow all the tension to just literally be let go of your body. And I want you to keep breathing, and I want you to notice your breath coming in through your nose, and I want you to send it all the way down to your feet. I want you to imagine that breath almost being like this smoky mist that's starting to just move through your system, and you're just drawing in this universal light, this universal energy. And you can notice what you notice about the color. Perhaps as it's going down into your feet, it's turning into maybe a darker red or a scarlety kind of color, starting to ground you in to the earth. If you feel it's a different color, I don't want you to fight that. I want you to just enjoy that beautiful color that's going down. That color will likely indicate the energy center that's just drawing that energy from. But if it feels right, imagine a beautiful red sunsetty color just filling up your legs as you breathe in, sending that beautiful red color all the way down to your feet. And imagine that your feet are starting to grow these little energetic roots that are just grounding you to the earth. And imagine those little roots just growing deeper and deeper and deeper down into the middle of the earth, where you can't even see them or feel them anymore. And you just know that you're connected to the earth, and feeling the earth's frequency and the earth's vibration just start to come in through your feet. And noticing your breath again, I want you to send your next big breath in down into those legs and the pelvis. Just relaxing your pelvic floor muscles, just simply relaxing your hips, relaxing where you're sitting on. And if your feet are up, you can actually even notice roots growing out of the tailbone right down into Mother Earth, just grounding you, just holding you in the most beautiful dark red energy where we just have these roots. And going back to your breath, I want you to send this next big, beautiful bout of breath down to the sacral plexus. We're going to go down into where your tailbone is, and your low back, and your lower belly, all underneath the belly button. And I want you to just feel that breath swirling into that area, simply cleaning and clearing and transmuting any energy in that area, and just allowing any discomfort or pain or anything that's showing up right now to just be touched by the breath. And allow it to become this beautiful dark orange color, just moving up and filling any areas of the low back that you need filled, filling any areas of the stomach, just allowing them to relax. And as you do that, I want you to just notice any uncomfortable feelings or any flutters that go on in that area, and really send your breath down into that area, filling it up. Beautiful orange breath, and releasing any tension with that breath out. Feeling that energy flowing, I want you to imagine it starting to fill your whole stomach cavity, your belly button. You can actually feel it just starting to bathe your belly button in beautiful yellow light like a sunshine, taking your breath and filling up that whole diaphragm. Really connecting that light and really feeling that beautiful energy moving down. I'm just going to send some energy work down to there's some leg stuff going on there for someone. And allow your breath to start to fill up into your chest cavity, and just notice what it feels like right now to have a greenish hue come about to your breath, and keep filling your whole solar plexus, your whole belly. But allow that light to now come and spill up into the heart, and notice in this heart center that it starts to sort of light up. It starts to become more glowy. It starts to become more magical as it starts to light up these upper energy centers, just clearing and transmuting any of those. Just allowing that light to move up through the body. Allowing it to move through into the shoulders. And just bathing that heart space in light, just allowing the whole energy center of the heart to start to open. To start to connect to soul, to start to connect To everyone in the field around us right now, just allowing that light to just be so big. Allow that light to now move up into that throat, into the chin, slowly moving up into the ears, just allowing it to be bathed with your breath. And imagine it just filling that whole area with blue light. Noticing some little discomforts in the neck. Just literally allowing that light to start to bathe every area around the neck, especially at the base of the skull, allowing that area to feel as though it's elongating and relaxing as that blue light just starts to encompass it. And moving that light up into the third eye and allowing that pressure to start to build across the nose. Allow that pineal gland to start to be massaged. And allowing the true visions to start to really be seen. Opening up your crown now, we're just going to allow that energy to just swirl and spiral in all of those colors. The beautiful bright white light coming from the very top of the head. I want you to imagine that light just cascading down through the body wherever it needs to touch, in whatever color it needs to touch in. Sometimes the alternating colors need to actually come down into those other energy centers. So just allow 3 good breaths of recognizing where your body is asking for some extra energy, some extra light, and just simply allowing that color to move down through the body as you start to feel lighter and lighter. I want you to imagine that you're outside right now, and it's dark. It's late, it's nighttime. Perhaps it's even around 2 in the morning. And I want you to notice the stillness of a new moon night, where there is no moonlight. Feels like utter darkness around you, aside from this beautiful star show that you have going. There's meteor showers with beautiful ideas that are just starting to float around. And I want you to notice those stars. And I want you to notice that there may just be a shooting star coming soon that you could wish on. I want you to imagine that you're lying or sitting outside and you can feel the dampness of the dew. I want you to breathe in that cool night air. Maybe it's warm where you are, maybe it's very humid. Just notice what the air feels like when you're breathing it in. Feel that air as you're starting to breathe that in. It's almost like you're breathing in the stars. It's almost like you're breathing in their energy. Perhaps you're even breathing in their vibration, and I want you to resonate with that vibration of the stars and notice right away there's one of the most biggest, most beautiful shooting stars you've ever seen. Don't waste this moment. Make a wish. I want you to notice that wish. You're still thinking about a wish? Just let the wish come. Imagine that up above, when you're looking at these stars represent the original light template that you were born as. And right now, if you're okay with me connecting with you in the superconscious field, I want you to ask the superconscious to show you right now every way that your wishes could just come true. Almost like a meteor shower, I want you to notice those thoughts that start coming in. If you were to take what you really desire and line it up with what you're willing to spend the time, the energy, the effort on, I want you to just allow that and continue to ask ways that it can show you, and you might just notice images pop in. Perhaps there's another question on your mind that you even want to ask right now. You have a template. This new moon is allowing you to see it. Just like an old light bright, you're taking that paper off, you're taking off all the little holes people punched for you, taking in all those little pictures the 5-year-olds were punching holes in when you weren't paying attention, when you weren't in your conscious, creative mind. And now that you are, I want you to feel the light that's inside your body, and I want you to notice the light that's right in your diaphragm. It's right above your diaphragm, right below your heart chakra, right in this secret space. That gut, that nose, that part of you that's been there all this time, that's just been sort of waiting to come back out and play. I want you to just notice those little satellites that are moving through the sky, those little stars you've never noticed before, and I want you to notice some of the patterns. There's actually a kite formation of lines of planets right now. That is literally made to be in line with exactly where we want to go. I want you to use this power from all of these planetary alignments, from all of these lessons that have been popping up lately, for all of these things that have been coming into your field to try and show you that you're on the right path. And I want you to just imagine yourself, almost like you're watching yourself. Could be in a movie, could just be seeing yourself in front of you. If you were walking if you were actually walking the walk, if you were walking your talk, what are you telling yourself? And we're just going to tag and treat all the resistance of the things that we've been telling ourselves, those stories that have been holding us back, those stories that we choose to no longer believe, and we're just going to tag and treat all those coming up in the active experience right now and doing a massive change history on any of those. And I want you to look back at yourself now again. And I want you to notice how you would be walking if you were actually walking your walk. How would that feel? How would that feel to be expanded? How would that feel to be connected? How would that feel to be exuding love, reacting from love, making decisions from love? What kind of decisions do you need to make about yourself, for yourself? What kind of things are you ready to be let go? We're just going to tag and treat all of those things. We're going to tag and treat all those events. We're going to treat all those ings that we're doing to stop doing what we're doing. tagging and treating all the procrastination and all the just all of the old stories. We know we can be motivated. We've seen ourselves be motivated. In fact, notice the last time you were really motivated. Notice that last time you went, I'm doing this. I'm so doing this. Rebecca, I feel you. I know that was you yesterday. Now, how do we stay in that tension? How do we know this every day? How do we feel this every day? We let this start to be embedded right into ourselves right now. Oof. We're just going to ask the superconscious field to just help us create this perfect treatment plan in the perfect order. Just creating this way we want to feel, creating getting out of our own way, creating the right paths, creating the easiest paths, knowing that it doesn't have to be hard, and tagging and treating all of that. I'm doing a massive change history and clean up on all of that, everything in the field. I'm just going to go through and just tagging and treating some of the events that happened in the past that really gave us the beliefs, and we've been seeing them lately, we've been knowing them, and we're just going to tag and treat those right now. I'm doing a massive change history on that. I want you guys to take a couple of nice deep breaths and just let that recovery time just kind of come in and clean up any sweeping through the energy systems, just going through all those energy systems through that root chakra. There's a lot of stuff that was there before we were born, things we heard in the womb, things we felt in the womb. Allowing that feminine energy to finally balance out, allowing that feminine energy to start to creep in and build power. This is some of that power that was missing, and just tagging and treating that. Just allowing all of the energies to balance, to truly show us how it feels to be walking that walk. How does it actually feel? Somewhat like a little caterpillar crawling into the chrysalis. It knows it's going to go turn to goo, but it also knows what's going to happen. And it can choose to stay and worry about what all the little caterpillars are thinking about it. Or it can choose to know that it's time for it to go to goo and start to be a butterfly. I want to just tag and treat that in the field. And now I want us to just be sitting outside, enjoying this starlight, absorbing the vibrations from the stars, absorbing the energy from the moon that we can feel, but we know isn't there. It's just simply lighting up the rest of the sky so we can finally see it. The overwhelm of the full moon will come, but for now it's very clear. That overwhelm is just going to keep us going. It's going to keep us seeing farther on. And I want you to take your breath to any area of your body and use the star's energy, use this new moon's energy to simply shine light, to bring that color to whatever area that's needed. Allowing your breath to help you clear and transmute any of that old energy that's wanting to work its way out right now. And I want you to imagine that beautiful template. Almost when you're looking at the stars, it's like a lamp that went on that you can finally see how your energy can be transmuted to the rest of the world. And I want you to just feel that. I want you to almost feel like you are the light bright and you are what's shining. And those stars are a projection. And as you allow this original light template to be absorbed into every cell of your body, that shift will be ready. And I want you to just choose the first thing that comes to mind to help you, truly help you with this shift that you need. And it may just be surrender. It may just be swim. It may just be do those videos, get it done. What are we waiting for? How fast has this month gone? Do we want to be at the end of August saying, oh, I still have to do those videos? Do we want to be at the end of the winter thinking I've gotten no further? And we're just going to ground all of this back into the matrix of the universe. We're going to just ask that all of our higher powers, all of the angels, everything that's on board to help us right now in achieving exactly what we want to achieve, exactly what we were intended to do, exactly what we were put here to do. And breathe in the fact that the abundance this month, these next 4 months, is coming in every way. If it's love, if it's happiness, if it's ease and grace and peace and flow and actual financial abundance, it's all right there for the next few months. It's go time. Entering that Lion's Gate, my hands are just still tingling and hot here, so I'm just going to keep going with the energy work. And when you're ready, you can take a nice deep breath and wiggle toes and just sort of come back to alpha state, theta state, get away from theta state. We can stay in there as long as we want. Actually, it feels pretty good. Got this funny pain in the back of my right leg that was not there before, was not mine. So I'm just, it's like there's a shortening of a hamstring. I feel like telling someone to stretch out their hamstrings, stretch out the backs of their legs, maybe stretching, and oh, everything's cracking. Stretching and moving. And I'm just being sort of called to remind us of the chemical level that we can produce. There's, happy hormones that we can produce just by having these beautiful thoughts, by allowing ourselves to go into this space. And by just moving for, it's so simple, but just moving in our bodies, getting that oxytocin, or that dopamine flowing, right? Completing something from start to finish, getting those hormones, really start to, we know how to rewire our brains, but like I felt like going from start to finish, that's going to really give us those hits of those hormones that we need to be able to it'll reduce our cortisol levels. It'll, it really makes a big, big difference to complete something. We don't think of it that way, but going and now doing this, doing whatever it is that came up to you guys. I'd love if you want to share if there's anything that came to you. I'm just going to keep on working on this hamstring. It's funny because the right side, it's also masculine energy, but it's also my strong yes when I'm doing muscle testing. So I was in trying to ensure that it's not that, but it's not that. So I'm just going to keep zapping what's going through there. Did anyone want to share anything? Might have knocked you guys out. That moon energy, I felt like it was like one of those kids' night lights that went on all of a sudden. It wasn't a light bright in my mind anymore. It was one of those like lights you turn on and it's that beautiful projection. How was that for
The
you?
light bright was wonderful idea. I love the metaphor of the night light, the bright light. I totally had one of those
You're there.
myself. Yeah, and I was actually getting some right side of my rib, lower rib, like solar plexus, I guess, and some chills along my neck. And so it was just whatever work you were doing
Love it.
was really resonating. It was nice. Thank you.
Oh, so good. You're so welcome. Thank you so much for joining and playing full out. You guys are awesome.
I love this.
It's so fun.
I think it's you in your voice. I just adore it.
You're so sweet. I really appreciate that. I've got a VA now who took all my meditations from every webinar I've done and just made a meditation out of them. So now I'm like, ooh, what can I do with all these meditations? So I'm thinking of like just putting one out in the group a month so it could just whatever it can be fun because I have like morning ones now and evening ones. I'm like a meditating maniac. It's so funny. And I worry sometimes, like I listen back to it and it's like, it's not that abrasive, but there's times where you pick on yourself, right? So I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Very sweet.
Well, you have a beautifully soothing voice, Jackie. It's really sweet to hear it.
Thanks.
And you should cherish that. That's a lovely thing to have because it's with what you were doing, it just takes us all very peacefully to where you're going. I had an interesting experience because I've only done this once before, I think, with you. And it was my first time and you did something with the third eye and I didn't know what that was. So I'm a little more aware now.
Good for you. Spatial repetition, right? It's like it makes more sense. Yeah.
And so it kind of was like a headachy feeling when you told us to kind of
it's like a
cross our eyes
pressure,
up there.
right? Yeah.
And so this time when you're just before you were talking about the caterpillar or the goo, I saw a bright yellow, beautiful yellow go into an orange and then almost every color. It was the coolest thing. It was like the blue mist with all these different swirls of color. It was really fun.
That is so nice.
And I, my energy today has been a little bit because of the long weekend. And then I did the practice right after Chris's thing that ran late. And, it was just like, so today I took a little nap before Trish's thing, like a little power nap. And I was like, oh crap. So it was just nice to sit here and
that's so
have
good.
that release. What a great thing. Thank you for doing that.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. It was awesome. It was awesome.
I was tempted not to, but I'm glad I did.
Right? It's true that resistance does pop up, right? It's like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. And I'm so grateful that you guys are here because it's time is very valuable, and I really do appreciate you taking the time to do that. And I really feel like it's all just kind of meant to be. I almost, when it comes to the meditation, I had 4 different things in my mind to actually go in the meditation, but it goes where it needs, like it's really wild. I wasn't even going to do chakras today, but it was like, no, we had to kind of balance and fill. And there was just so much stuff going on I just felt like that light energy just needed to really kind of take a few extra minutes and ground ourselves in that. So,
one more thing. When I sat down in this little easy chair, when I got back from picking up my daughter, the dog jumped up. Like, she's so little, she's like 5 pounds, but she figured out a way to get up here to be with me. And the cat's right over here. They're like, we want some of this. It's fun.
I remember when I first started coaching, like with Chris's BA program or whatever. I was in my office here, and my cats would be all over the shelf and all over the place. It was like I had to lock them out. They just know there's Samara's cat. They just know, right? Like they do. They're right in the field. I actually did a recode on a dog this afternoon for a first time. I hadn't
Did
tried
you?
that before. Yeah, I was having anxiety because it was being babysat by someone I stopped by, and I'm just like, hey, why not? Let's give this a try. So I have to check in with her now and see how the dog's doing. I've never tried that before. I don't know if it's hard to sort of discern, right? But she was right there. She was loving it. So it was
Give
awesome.
us
I've
feedback
heard
on that.
that.
I'd love to know if it
I
worked.
will. Yeah, I totally will. We kind of did a recode for anxiety, so it was kind of like
Mm.
it was hard to bring up a true choice for a dog, but I'm like, we're just gonna sort of it was really interesting.
Well, somebody else did that yesterday. There was someone popped into Kim's session and Dorley said, work with true nature and purpose and health and vitality for the dog because it was having a very alarming situation.
Right?
And I had never heard of that. So I have to follow up with them and find out how that dog is. but
Definitely.
but apparently, I'm trying to remember the name, but somebody else in the group has done animal recodes and they work
Yeah,
with health and vitality and true nature and purpose.
totally. I know Galit's all over it, and Christy Goodlet apparently does it with her horses too. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm heading out to go work with my horses now. So I was gonna ask my daughter if she'd be willing to let me play with her horse. So that would be good.
Well, I had a friend guide me to do something with my cat because he was seeming to have some challenges, and so I kind of held that healing energy with my hand and kind of, went through his body and kind of shook it off, and
Yeah,
next day he was back to his normal self. So
pretty wild, eh?
Awesome.
Yeah,
yeah, I believe that we are connected with them and can
absolutely,
see
100%.
them.
They're
Yeah.
pure energy. It's like babies, right? Just pure energy. They're so receptive. They don't have all those stories that are limiting them from receiving.
Yeah, I don't think my cat has a sabotaging bone in his body.
Nope. They don't mind receiving. They'll come take it whenever they want it too. It's all about them.
That's right. That's right.
How about you, Samara? I saw you hopped off mute. Did you want to share for a moment how you?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I just, it's funny that this conversation is going into animal because that's been coming up for me so strongly. In fact, even, I think I might have mentioned before, my former employer with massage, she just texted me this morning saying, we're with the horses and we're thinking of you.
Aw, that's so
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, and just I don't know, just it's just been really coming up strongly for me, to get on the horse, you know, get on it, and the donkeys, and yeah,
I love
and
it.
yeah, and one of the things I just wanted to share that I think it might have been in a recode with Chris quite a while back that has helped me, like when you were talking about um, the stars, and um, it really helps me when I breathe and I feel like I'm breathing in sync with the universe, with the stars, and
It's like
when
they go in.
with my out breath, the universe is breathing in, and vice versa. And yeah, it's you can see she wants to be part of it too.
Right? Isn't that beautiful?
But
That's your
yeah,
vibration right now too, because it
yeah.
does, right?
Oh
They
yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
She was up here the minute you started the meditation. He lives up there, but
Exactly.
yeah, it's
Oh, it was
funny.
fun horsing around with you too, Ginny. It's funny because I have horses, and for the last 5 years, the amount of time I've spent with them is like nothing. Like and I'm having so much fun because I don't have time, but I'm out there because that's like. I have horses as if I'm not out there with them every single day, enjoying them for what it's crazy the things that we have and we don't use, like our knowledge, right? So that's my message for you guys tonight. If anybody else wanted to share, you're more than welcome. We're good.
I just want to say thank you again, Jackie. It's been
Oh,
wonderful.
you're so welcome, Sabrina. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys so much for just making the time to take this time even for yourselves and to play full out and just allow those thoughts to come in. Did you want to share, Jesse, before I let you guys go? Did we knock you out? No. Or Heather, I'll whack-a-mole you, as Trisha says. How was that for you, Jesse?
Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks. Yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
glad.
whack-a-mole.
Make you guys come out and talk, eh? That's lovely. I'm so glad that you made it. You guys made my whole weekend. I'm already excited about my next week's webinar. We're diving into emotions next week because it's going to be a prequel for our emotional mastery class coming up. We're basically, there's Michelle and Julie and Verena and myself, and we've broken apart most of the emotions sort of on that lower scale to shift out of frequencies. And like Verena's a frequency worker, and I'm diving into some of the oils and the frequencies that can sort of bring you right up. And we have all sorts of just amazing information about the emotions in general and how to sort of see the lessons in them rather than have the traumas. So it's really cool. We've got some really great stuff planned. So we're going to dive in a little bit to some emotions and starting to master them next Friday night. And yeah, it's going to be August, guys. So let's rock this. Let's make those wishes. Think about if you had that star you wished on, and think about what it was that popped up for you. And sometimes when we even sort of randomly think of wishes, thinking about blowing out a candle, think about those things that you really wished for when you were younger, because that may be right back to where you are going. We often find, even our old journals and stuff like that, some pretty intuitive information. We often knew where we were going all along. So feel free to go peruse through some old journaling if you have, and if you don't, it's a great time to start journaling so that next year you can look back and go, holy smackers, I grew so much, and I can't believe I didn't know I was going to be doing this right now. I love it. Peace and abundance for the month of August. That's what it's all about, baby. I love it. I love it. You guys are just awesome. Well, have an excellent weekend, everybody, and I will see you guys next week, hopefully. Okay. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye,
You're so
everyone.
welcome. Bye bye.